What's up, guys? We're back again. I've got another silly little thing to yap about today. There's this new game that I beat this week. I've been kind of busy, so it's taken me a couple weeks to get through it. But it's called Everhood 2. Now, I only found this game because I was scrolling YouTube and it popped up and recommended somebody, I don't even remember who, somebody was playing it. And I was like, this looks kind of fun. This looks like a fun little game to play. So then I was like, there's got to be a first one, right? Because this is the second one. So I went and checked out the first one. Played that one first. That game's awesome. Um, just for the record, probably gonna talk about spoilers. Just so you know, you've been warned. But yeah. So the first game, super cool, super good, super silly. It's kind of like Undertale vibes. If you're unfamiliar with the game, it's kind of like Undertale vibes, except it's a rhythm game where it's like a Guitar Hero scroll type rhythm game, except you're like playing on the board and you're like dodging attacks slash attacking on the board. It makes more sense if you see it, but I'm just talking about it, so you're not seeing it. Go play the game. Anyways, it's like a cool little story because it's like I'm getting into spoilers now. It's like a cool little story because it's like you're just going through the game because somebody like stole your arm and you're like, oh, I gotta get the arm back. So you go get your arm back, and then it's like, oh, actually you're supposed to kill everybody, so you go kill everybody, and then it's like uh there's other endings. This isn't the real ending, maybe, question mark. You don't know. But it's fun. It's a fun little game, fun little whimsical little game. So it's also like pretty short, like maybe like 6 hours of gameplay, which like for a cool little indie game, that's like pretty respectable. Anyways, Everhood 2 came out like 3 weeks ago. So I hopped on that and I was like, the first game was like peak. So this one's got to be like crazy, right? It's pretty good. Pretty good. I give it like 7 out of 10. Pretty good. The music, I feel like the soundtrack is not as good as the first game. That's just my opinion, though. The first game was like very, very whimsical. It felt like every song was specially made with love for each fight. The second game feels more like they had a bunch of songs and put them in the game. It doesn't really feel like they made the game and then was like, oh, we got to make music specifically for this. It feels more of like we have this, we're going to use it for most of them. Some of them it fits really well. But the gameplay, I think is way better than the first game. The first game had its charm because it was like a fun little indie, like, oh, this is kind of a neat idea. Second game polishes it a lot. It does some silly things though, like there's different weapons you can use instead of just having like the first game you were just using your hand. You're like, hand, that's your weapon. But the second game has like actual soul weapons where it's like you collect them and they have weaknesses and you can level them up and stuff. But they're not like, it's very poorly implemented, I feel like, because it's like a Pokemon kind of. Some stuff's super effective, some stuff is like weak, but that applies to the weapons, but also applies to like the enemies you're fighting. So some of them will be weak to like a specific color, and it's like, but you just have to figure it out, trial and error. And also like the weapons don't really matter that much because none of the weaknesses are like crazy. It's like, say you have some big multiplier and you go to attack them, it's like you do 600 damage, or your weapon just isn't good at that color and you do like 500. Like it just doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So that's kind of stupid and kind of just like a waste of like a mechanic that's kind of annoying to keep track of because like you need the weapons at one point in the game, but there's no reason to use any of the other ones that besides the first one you get because you've already leveled up the first one that you got. But yeah, the core gameplay is like an improvement over the first one. It's really fun, pretty entertaining. But the the story of this game, the second game, the story of the first game was really cool, really thought provoking, really like it really made you think, and you were like, "Oh, this is really cool. This is a cool, silly little twist about in this video game." But the second this one, the new one, it seems like it's gonna have like a cool, really cool story. This is also like super spoilers, by the way. Just I already said it twice, but here we are again. It seems like it's gonna be like a silly little cool story with lots of depth because it starts throwing all these like cool guys at you and these like cool little environments like in the first game. And then it just kind of stops. It's just like it just keeps throwing stuff at you, and it's very much like there's just like random things, just like this is random, this is random, this is random. Oh, random's cool, random's funny, which like to be fair, it is. Like at some point you're like in this hallway, and then like Rasputin appears, and he's like, "I'm gonna fight you," and then he never comes back again. It's like, why was he there? That's kind of funny. That's he's got like a silly little song. It's like a little piano tune, but like none of it means anything. It never like comes back around. You fight him again at some point, but he just like disappears again. There's no reason for him to be there. And then a bunch of the like throughout the whole story, there's a bunch of stuff that's like, oh, you've got to do this. Oh, you've got to do that. Oh, you got to do this. But it never gets explained why you're doing any of that until and then until the very end. But up to that point, it's like you just get told to do things and do things and do things, but it never does anything like in the story. It's just, ah, you do this, ah, you do that. It's very like Assassin's Creed fetch questy, where it's just like, oh, you do this thing, oh, you do that thing, oh, you do this thing. Suddenly you're at the end. But except it's like acid trip random things that you're doing, and then suddenly you're at the end of the game. Except the end of the game, sort of like the first game, there's a couple of different endings, but they're all pretty similar. It's just like the whole gimmick of the story, which this is the ending of the story, by the way. If you're still listening and you still think I'm not going to talk about spoilers, here's a pretty big spoiler. The ending is like the whole gimmick is it's one of those time loop things where it's like this whole time you're trying to fight God like you were doing in the first game, sort of. Except because you want like out, but you don't really know what's happening because everybody's just telling you what's happening. Your character knows nothing. Your character is lost. So you finally meet who you think is God, except he's like, oh no, I'm actually not God. You and I combined are both God. You just don't know that. You've forgotten. And then it's like, there's no end. This is the story. The story is that there's no end. It's you're stuck here. And then it resets your save back to your last save file before you got to like the last chapter of the game. And it's just like, that's the story. The story is there is no story, except that was the story to the entire point up to the end was that there is no story. So really there just was no story, just at all. It's not even like, oh, the journey, not the destination, but like it's not even that because the journey was just like random shit. It was just like, oh, you've got to do this. Oh, you've got to do that. Oh, you got to do this. Go get this thing. Go help these people. But none of that ever came back around. It was just like you interacted with everything like once, and then it was like, okay, next thing. Even the recurring characters in the story, there's a few recurring characters that like keep coming back around and around again. None of them ever really get character development or like none of them really get lore except for like the cat Sam. He kind of gets some lore at one point, but like not really. And it's the whole game is just all of the recurring characters telling you, oh, you've got to do this, oh, you got to do that, until you get to the very end when it's just like, oh yeah, none of that mattered. It's all fake. Nothing matters. Go back to the beginning. This is it's all a loop. It doesn't matter. You're stuck here. It's just like it's just stupid. It's a really stupid story, and I didn't even clock that this was like this was real. I thought like, oh, I just got like a bad ending. Like surely this is not how this ends. So I didn't want to redo the whole thing again because there's a couple places where you make these choices and it's like I didn't want to do it all again because it took a while and I had stuff to do. So I just Googled it. I was like, what are the endings of this game? What does this mean? And I'm not the only one who asked that question, apparently. That is the ending. that just is the ending. The ending is that there is no ending, and it's like, the journey was cool. That's the point. Cool journey, but like the journey wasn't that interesting. So the story is just there is no story. It's kind of stupid. The first game had a better story by far, but the gameplay was good. The soundtrack was good. The story just like it wasn't great. It really wasn't there at all. But here we are, and I played the game. It was a fun game. I would recommend that game. Actually, both of them. Really, the first one though, but the second one was good too. It was good. I'm kind of ragging on the story a lot, but like, it was good. It was a nice little, fun little game to play to break up the monotony of every other game that I usually play. Um, yeah, that's about it. It's got some cool guys in it. There's a lot of cool guys in that game. I don't. Yeah, this is about it. That's about it. It's been real. Till next time.